What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Sportorium Podcast. We're here for episode 2 of hockey, joined by Mike and James. Let's get right into it, boys.
Now that I have this list pulled up, I think a very underrated move was the Stars getting Max Domi.
Yeah, I love Max Domi.
Yeah,
I just love his dad because of like how much of a boss he
yeah,
was.
his dad's cool. He's
And
like the nicest guy too.
yeah, I met him at an Islanders game last year, actually, when it was like we had a box suite and he was up there with all like the legends and stuff. And um, yeah, it was pretty cool. He's just like short as hell, man. He's like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're all like, I mean, Max Domi short too.
but
Um,
no, I love that move too.
Also, John Klingberg going to Minnesota, I thought was a really good move.
That one
Yeah.
went under the radar.
Yeah, and it wasn't even for a lot, too. That was one of, I think, was that the last move, like right before the deadline?
Might
Yeah,
have
It
been.
was
I think
something like that.
I think
wasn't
it
for a
was
lot,
literally
too.
happened like 5 minutes before the deadline or something
Yeah.
like that. And another one, this is like the last one, just the Bruins in general. Getting Tyler Bertuzzi, I thought was a massive move because they needed like more like depth like to their forwards, like aside from just like obviously Pasta, Marchand, Bergeron. Like DeBrusque has been very good. I don't know about Hall. Honestly, don't know what his stats been, but I feel like I haven't really heard much
I
about
think he's
him,
hurt.
so I don't know. Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
yeah, no,
even
he
when he
was.
was
He was put on
playing,
long-term IR.
yeah, but even when he was playing, and then they got Orlov. That move was massive because they needed some like defensive depth too.
The rich get richer. They did
And
have
then
a good deadline.
just a weird move to me was like the whole Jonathan Quick situation. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
very random.
And they did him so dirty, too.
That was
Yeah.
so.
But it also doesn't make sense that, the whole thing was just weird. And I guess the Blue Jackets kind of made out on it because they just flipped him within 6 hours, basically.
Yeah, it was just weird.
But then it backfires for the Kings because now he's on the Knights. So, and you better hope that the Knights and Kings don't play in playoffs because Jonathan Quick is not letting in a goal.
He's been killing it, but to be fair, so has Cal Peterson on the Kings. Cal Peterson's been like unstoppable.
Yeah, he has been. Yeah, that's why I guess they did it. But like, I don't know. Quick's also getting older.
It's a good shakeup, I guess. You know, sometimes people just, especially goalies, need scenery. And
is Quick even the starter like for Vegas? Like, isn't like Logan Thompson like the starter?
Logan Thompson's been hurt for a little bit.
Yeah, I think
that was the reason
they have somebody else too.
Isn't it like Brossois?
I don't know. I feel like they've been.
I swear, I want to say his name.
I feel like they've cycled a few goalies. Talk about cycling goalies. Buffalo has like 5 goalies that they play, and they're all terrible. So
I love Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yeah, that's one of the best names in hockey.
Yeah, they're all.
They just signed some. What's his name? Devon Levy, something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw something about that.
He's supposed to be good, but
I don't know. Some teams are like a goalie away from like being very good.
Yeah, I think the Sabres definitely need more than just a goalie.
Yeah,
they're one of those teams.
I was just like, I don't know. I feel like the Maple Leafs, the Oilers, like there isn't like they have like I said, Samsonov's doing like pretty good for the Leafs, but they need like a guy like a actual starter, not like the flip flopping stuff. Like that doesn't really ever work.
Yeah, and that's with Edmonton and between like Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell. Like they're both solid. Jack Campbell hasn't been great. I think Stuart Skinner's been probably better, but still, you're just like, there's basically just splitting time. Like you see, like the Islanders are a very good example of just like you have a guy, and then you got like a nice veteran who comes in and he plays well when he needs to.
Yeah, because the Islanders were doing that for like literally like 8 years, like where they had just 2 goalies that were like they were all like pretty good. Like you had like the Grice Halak combination. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but they both were like respectable at that time. Then you had like Leonard Grice, and now you have like Varlamov Sorokin.
You got Halak is still holding it down for the Rangers.
Yeah, he had a really bad start to the year, but
he did. I just saw it. I think he was like 0-5-1 in his first 6 games.
Yeah,
and then he's been like 10-2-1 or something like that. It's kind of crazy.
That's what the Islanders like need to do. Like they need to move on from Varlamov and like just get like a backup. Like Varlamov's kind of just sitting there. like rotting away almost.
Could
Yeah.
send him to Arizona.
Unless like because he's getting paid more than Sorokin.
Yeah, but his contract expires in a
Yeah.
few, right?
Yeah, like yeah, it's over. Like I would re-sign him for like 2 million, but like if he wants more than that, I'm not getting him.
Because he's
Because
still a
it's
starting
nice to have like a
caliber goalie on
backup
another
like
team.
that, but
Yeah, you definitely don't need somebody like super high paid though.
yeah, exactly.
Sorokin's gonna need to be paid eventually. He's
I
gonna
mean,
be getting,
him and Shesterkin signed like the same year.
yeah, because they probably signed in the same living room, dude.
Yeah.
That's it's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing with like Sorokin, like I don't even like Shesterkin, like those Russian dudes, like they don't really care about money like that. Like
Yeah.
even if you look at someone like Ovechkin, like he could have definitely like demanded way more money. Like they just love playing.
Yeah,
Great for us. I'll take it.
Especially like a goal.
Love
I don't know.
us.
Goalies, you look at like the high paid goalies. I mean, well,
Bobrovsky.
yeah, Carey Price. I mean, like there's some goalies that like were like deserving the money, I guess, but goalies kind of almost like it is a very important position, but like you could always find someone for like cheaper. Like I don't know how to explain. It's kind of similar to like running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not replacing Sorokin with somebody like Stuart Skinner.
Oh
You
no,
know,
but like you're not gonna pay him like I wouldn't want to pay a goalie like $10 million. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I
And I don't
understand
think
what you're
that
saying.
Sorokin is ever gonna get that. So
Yeah. It's
I
kind of
bet you
like,
some team would.
oh,
some,
some team would,
some
but
team would pay
yeah,
him 10 million.
yeah, but I kind of see what you're saying, how you got like a couple of these like super high end guys, and then like the rest you could kind of, they're kind of interchangeable in some
yeah.
ways. So I could definitely see that. Let's transition to just people having some great years and some bad years, but we'll talk about the good first. Obviously, got to talk Connor McDavid. The guy is just insane. It's literally video game numbers, and like you try to have a conversation with people about hockey, and if they don't really know, you kind of like can't put into words how good Connor McDavid is. Like in the NFL, you talk about, oh, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks. In baseball, you're like, oh, Aaron Judge just won MVP, great player. In the NHL, Connor McDavid is the best player, and that is, you can't dispute it. He is the guy. His name is Mickey Jesus for a reason.
I think so. Here's my take on this, right? There's 2 points I want to make. First off, the NHL is by far the most paritable league of the major four, right? There's almost like any player can play against another, play on another team and do really well, right? Like you can plug and play players from certain teams and they can end up having great years or bad years. You know, there's a lot of parity in this league in terms of skill level. Connor McDavid is one of 3 players since 1993 to score 140 points in a year where, or maybe more like a timeline where scoring is not that high. I mean, obviously the 90s was way worse, but it's him, Yager, and Lemieux. That's it. Those are the only 3 players in the last 30 years to score 140 points. That's insane. And he's doing this against people that are basically the same skill level as him. There's a lot of parity. A lot of these teams are able to find ways to limit certain superstars, right? Like you see it when teams play against the Avalanche or against the Lightning. They'll shut down the first line. McDavid says, screw you. I'm going to go do whatever I want. I'm going to win the Rocket Richard this season. Goes out and scores 60 plus goals. I'm going to go get the Hart Trophy, gets 140 goals. Next thing you know, he's going to be like, I want 5 Stanley Cups in a row. And he's going to somehow do it and put it all together. He is, bar none, the best hockey player we've seen since Wayne Gretzky, if not better.
Yeah, no, there's actually like a very fair point to be made that he is just the most skilled player of all time.
I think he might be the most skilled in terms of physical attributes. He's definitely the most skilled hockey player, skater at least. I don't know about goalie, but I mean, maybe the IQ thing might be a little different. Gretzky might have a better IQ than McDavid, but skill wise, if you put them both in their prime, McDavid would skate circles around Gretzky.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to compare too. It's like a different game. That's why, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is true because I mean you just look at Gretzky stats and obviously they're just insane, but that's also in an era where goalies were just standing up for some reason. So it's very hard to compare. But
This is this were the goalies just in the day. Just
it's
there you
literally
go.
what they're
Just
doing.
shoot. You know what I mean? It was like it's terrible. You know.
Yeah, just a shame they like don't know how to build the team around him.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hard though, if you think about it. How much does McDavid make? He makes 13.5 million.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty
That's-
sure that's how much McKinnon makes.
Yeah, I guess
Maybe it's
regardless,
12 and a half. I don't know.
12 and a half.
so
I mean, yeah, also when you pay Darnell Nurse like 9 million
Yeah.
or whatever they paid him, that
That's so
doesn't help.
yeah, I mean between Darnell Nurse, Draisaitl, and McDavid, you're probably looking at about a third of your entire salary cap. And yeah, Draisaitl and McDavid are good, but it might not be the best defensive players, right? So like your goalie and your defensive core, especially with $9 million Darnell Nurse. That's got to be one of the worst contracts in the NHL for sure.
Well, I counter you with a Seth Jones 9.5 million.
Ah, there you go. You
But
you win that battle. I
both
counter
very
you with a
terrible.
Sergei Bobrovsky for 10 million a year. All right, that's the worst contract in the NHL.
Nah, I counter that with Josh Bailey for 5 million a year.
That's really bad too.
Yeah. In December, I would have said Jacob Trouba for 8 million, but he's turned it around. He's had a
Yeah, he's
pretty
been
good
playing
season.
actually very well.
So
Who else is having a good year? I mean, obviously Pasta.
Yeah.
We could talk
Kucherov,
about players like that, but maybe we'll try to like more surprising players.
Yeah. One of the ones that I do want to point out I mean, it's a big name guy. Everybody
I
knows
know what
he's
you're gonna
good.
say.
Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
He's having like such a sneaky good. He's gonna have 50 goals, and
Well,
like
also the
nobody's
thing with
saying
him
his
is
name.
like you like sorry to cut you off, but like he just doesn't get the credit because of like Cale Makar and McKinnon, like are bigger names around him. But
Yeah.
when he was healthy and everybody else was hurt, he was legitly carrying their team. Like there was some crazy stat, like some advanced thing where like all their goals, like he had like some I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong stat, but it was like a high percentage of like it was over like 50 something percent like he had something to do with the
I think
goal. Like
yeah,
I don't
I
know, it was
think I know
some
what you're
crazy
talking about.
stat.
Yeah, he was actually carrying them.
I think we're missing the ball here, right here. The absolute bar none best player for their value, like best bang for your buck player this year, has been
Matthew
Tage
Tkachuk.
Thompson.
Oh.
Tage Thompson makes
Oh, yeah.
$4.2 million a year.
That is looking like one of the best contracts in the league.
Dude
I
has
thought he,
like
wait, how
90
much does he
points
make?
already. He only makes 4 million a year.
I
And
thought he makes
yeah,
7 million.
it was a 7-year deal. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
it
he
was.
signed a 7-7.
Actually,
It might
I'm
have been a
wrong.
7-7.
He only at right now has a cap hit of 1.4 million.
Well, yeah, because that's probably, but he signed a
But
7
he
by
did
7.
just sign a 7
It's
by
still
7.
a steal, 7 by
Yeah,
7.
but still.
Yeah, I mean the dude has 90 points. Panarin has less than that, and he makes 11.2. So I mean,
And actually another deal that's like I think is like one of the best in the league is Jack Hughes. He's like 8 times 8, I think.
yeah, that's a good one for sure.
Even like Matthew Tkachuk, like he's 4th in the league in points, and I think he gets like 9.5 million.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I still love that trade, man.
That
That's
trade,
such a weird
it
trade.
was so weird.
I can't tell because both teams are just like not doing as well as they should be.
Like they
And
both fell off a little bit. I don't know. I just think I don't know. What is Barkov doing this year?
he's having a good year. Let me see.
I know he got hurt.
He's still having a pretty good year. I want to say he has like 60 points or so. But you know, and you're like you were saying, both teams fell off. I think all in all, though, Florida wins that trade because they get Kachuk for the longest time. At the beginning of the season, I would have told you completely different, right? Like they got Calgary got Huberdeau and Uyghur from that trade, and it was like, oh my god, are you kidding me?
Uyghur's the
Yeah.
most overrated defenseman.
He was great for a couple of years and then kind of just but yeah, I think Florida wins that trade because they're closer to a playoff spot at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like they're pretty close. I guess they're both basically in the same position. Florida's 3 points out of a playoff spot. Calgary's 4. Florida wins the trade.
And Huberdeau has been just bad.
He's been awful.
He's got like 14 goals, 36 assists on the year.
Bro, he's about to have like a 60-point drop off from last year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's the same skill level as Alexi Lafreniere.
Well,
yeah, I think
they have the same number of goals. So let's put it that way.
As far as like breakout years, I think you got like guys like Jason Robertson. I mean, he had a good year last year too. I think he had 40 goals or almost 40 goals last year.
Yeah.
And then you got I don't even know who I was gonna say. Oh, Jack Hughes. I already mentioned him a little bit. I've loved Jack Hughes since he came in the league.
I don't know how well he's gonna do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
that's another team that's like really good regular season, but they could just fall apart.
Yeah, they could, but
definitely. Tim Stützle is having a really good year.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, but I mean,
Brady Tkachuk too.
A lot of people would do well if you're on the pairing with Claude Giroux. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is that line? Is it Giroux, Tkachuk, and Stützle?
I'm not sure. I think DeBrincat plays with
maybe
Tkachuk, maybe. I don't know. I don't really watch the Senators.
They got a pretty potent offense, but that's another team where it's just like their defense is not there, and that's killing them.
And their goaltending isn't good.
Yeah, that too.
And then
another guy, your guy. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Clayton Keller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that guy's on like one of the worst teams in the league, and he has 81 points.
I literally didn't know that he had.
I think he has 36 goals now too.
Yeah, he does.
Like that kid is a monster. I've liked him for a while now too. I mean, he's got to leave that team. That's like a team that's like
gotta move.
Yeah, well, that like they just gotta like completely. Yeah, you gotta blow that team up. That's like Atlanta Thrashers like type. Actually, move them back to Atlanta. Yeah, it'd be better there.
No. Hold on. We got to talk about that. I hate that idea.
I love that idea.
Atlanta Thrashers were such a bad team because people in Atlanta hated hockey. Nobody went to the games.
I mean, I know a lot of people from Atlanta that dude, they were just terrible. I mean, yeah, they're probably going to be terrible too still, but.
And so then it's going to fail and flounder.
But I don't know. I think the hype will be there now. Like,
I think Houston or Quebec is the only two viable options.
I think Quebec is like a must.
I think
Quebec
that really
would
just
be
does
great but you're too close to Montreal at that point. It could be a good thing, but
I think Kansas City would be a great spot too, because literally all they have is sports there. Like they would sell out their games. Like,
yeah. I think Houston, Kansas City is a great option too. Houston, Kansas City, Houston would be a good idea because it's a non-traditional market what they're trying to go into, but it's not a failure like Atlanta is.
That's true.
But
I don't know.
The thing I have with Atlanta is like they couldn't even sell out Braves games back in the old Turner Field and then they like finally just got this new stadium, right? And like they built the new Falcons Stadium as well. And like even still, I don't think they're selling out games for those teams, And
I mean, it doesn't help when the teams aren't good. So
the Braves were like the second best team in the league last year.
Oh, I was talking about the Falcons.
Oh, well, yeah, the Falcons suck. Yeah, but like
I don't know. I feel like it's always just difficult too with like because I mean like even like the Islanders, like UBS Arena hasn't really lived up to the hype. Like for like I'm not saying it's not nice. I love it, but like I'm saying like awesome. Selling tickets wise. Like the other night I was there, and it was like it's like a standing room only like sellout, and I like look around and it's like there were so many empty seats. Like that to me that's not a sellout. That's people just like buying the tickets, company, whatever, and like no one they can sell it. Like to me that's like a failure.
Maybe they were all just standing.
No. It was like I think it was Saturday night against the Sabres. And they said that, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, dude, there's like so many empty seats. Like what are they talking about? But I guess if you're selling the tickets, you're making money. It's like,
damn, Keller screwed himself.
Right.
He signed an 8-year contract with the Coyotes. Like,
yeah, he'll probably get traded. So
why did he do that?
I don't know. That was like everyone said that about McDavid too when he signed. So
it's a great deal though, 7.1. So like I would, if I were a team that needed a good.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be. I'm telling you, in the next year or two, he's gonna be like the guy everyone's gonna trade for.
I would take him. He's a winger, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would take him in a heartbeat for 7.1 at 81 points and 24 or in 75 games.
Yeah,
20
he was good. I think he played at Boston University or college. I don't know. I forgot which one. He played like a season there.
I think it was BC.
All right, so we're going to transition into the playoff race, and if it started today, what the matchups would be and what we think would go on. So, Mike, take it away.
All right, so we're gonna go based off points, right? So number one in the West is going to be Vegas. So Vegas would face off against the second wild card of Winnipeg right now. In a 7-game series, I'm taking Vegas in 5 against Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'll take Vegas in 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gotcha. Then it would be, I guess, technically it would be Minnesota versus Seattle, right? Because
Yeah, right now, yeah, it would be Minnesota versus Seattle.
that one actually could turn out to be an upset. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle could take that series. I would say Minnesota in 7, though.
It also depends on Kaprizov. I think he's probably gonna be back by then.
Yeah, they've been tearing it up without him.
Yeah, they actually have. They've been like better without him. It's kind of like the Barzell situation.
Yeah, I think the Wild win that in 5.
I'd still take the Wild over.
I just think I don't know.
How many
Seattle.
games?
I don't know. It's Seattle.
I would say 6, but I could definitely see it going to 7 and
The
the
thing with
Kraken
Seattle
just
is for
steal
me
it.
is like I haven't seen them play too much, so like I don't really have much like on them besides like when I've seen them play like a few games this year.
Gotcha. So then let's go Pacific 2-3 matchup is going to be LA versus Edmonton. We kind of chatted about that before. I could see Edmonton just running over the Kings in that. Like I could see them taking it in 4, honestly.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. I don't think of that. The Kings are a very good team. I just think I don't know. With I'll never bet against McDavid. Like so, I mean, especially the Kings. Like if it was like the Avs or like someone else, maybe. But I don't know. I just think like McDavid in the playoffs, you saw it like last year. It's like he doesn't change. Like he does exactly what he does in the regular season. So I would say Edmonton in 6.
Yeah, I'd go 5 or 6 just because like obviously McDavid's McDavid, but then you got the other guys that are really stepping up. Like Zach Hyman has like almost 80 points, and like Nugent Hopkins, yeah, he's having a great year too. So there are a lot of things going right for the Oilers. So
Yeah, I would think the Oilers would steamroll them, but the only thing that would just make me nervous is just goaltending. Like you saw it last year with like Mike Smith for them.
Yeah, like the
Like
9-goal games.
yeah, like they had to score like 5-6 goals like to win a playoff game.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. The big heavyweight matchup out west would be Colorado Dallas.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
That's a heavy hitter right there, and I could see it really going either way. I'm telling you, it's going 7 though.
Yeah, I have Avs in 7.
You have Avs in 7. I'm going Stars in 7. Honestly,
I'd probably lean Avs, but
dude,
it's
I
crazy
hope
that this is that
happens.
matchup because these could very well be the 2 best teams in the West.
Dude, I hope that's the matchup. That'd be so fun.
That would be.
I
Crazy.
think that has to be the matchup because I doubt Winnipeg's going to get into that 3rd spot.
I don't know. I don't think they will.
So yeah, I could see that. That's going to be a great.
It's like it's funny just like how different like the Western Conference playoffs are to the East. Like it's so wide open. Like the West, it's like fast paced, like high scoring, and then like there's like I feel like there's like no structure almost, and then you got like the East, and it's like games are like 2-1 in like triple overtime. Like just like it's very 2 different things.
Opposite.
Yeah,
back in like 2010 to 2015, it was the exact opposite.
Yeah, like when it was the Kings and the Blackhawks like fighting every year, like for the best of the West.
Yeah, they were insane. All right, so let's go Eastern Conference. Boston right now would face Pittsburgh.
That'd be a great series also.
I always love Boston versus Pittsburgh because I hate the hell out of Pittsburgh, and I love when Boston beats up on teams. I would take Boston at 6, but I do think there's always a potential for Pittsburgh to just steal that.
Yeah, I'd probably lean for Boston in 7. I don't know. It's like Crosby's one of those guys too. I don't like betting against in the playoffs, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'd still have to. You can't bet against the Bruins at this point because they are just insane. They're like 11 losses right now. It's crazy. They're
Yeah.
just so good. So I would probably say just because the Pittsburgh Penguins are like a pesky old, like they have a lot of experience, I'd probably say in 6 or 7. I don't think they're definitely not going to get like swept or anything. I would be very, very surprised just because there's so much playoff experience there.
Then Carolina versus the Islanders. This one is going to be another slobber knocker. I mean, we're talking arguably the best playoffs from the Eastern Conference in I don't know how long. I mean, this is every single one
Yeah,
of
it's
these teams,
crazy.
with the exception of New Jersey, is like solidified playoff built teams, at this point. Even the Rangers kind of after last year's run.
Yeah,
So
the Maple Leafs
Carolina
aren't either.
Islanders. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said the Maple Leafs aren't either.
Oh, yeah, true, but they had enough playoff experience, just not deep runs. I'm going. Oh man, you guys are gonna hate me. I'm gonna say Carolina in 7.
Non-biased Isles in 4.
Yeah, I'm taking Isles in 6.
That I could see.
Isles in
Islanders
1.
only win series in
Isles in
6
1.
games.
Yeah, I could definitely see that going to just
I don't
going to a
know.
7th.
I don't know. I don't like playing the Hurricanes, but I'll just still be biased and take Islanders in 6.
I'll take Isles in 7.
Next one is let's start with the Atlantic, Toronto versus Tampa Bay. I mean, I've said it enough. I'm broken record. Phenomenal matchup. I got Toronto taking it in 7.
Yeah, I got Tampa in 7. I don't know. Every year I'm like, dude, Toronto's got to win a series
Yeah,
eventually.
right. Like it's got to happen.
I thought it was
They
gonna be
are
last
good.
year. They went up 3-2 and then they lost in 7 to the. I don't know. I just think like the experience comes into factor. Yeah, like guys like Stamkos, Kucherov, like Point, all those guys.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
I'm definitely leaning Lightning here because like we touched on it before, but like they lean on their top 2 lines so much. I think one of the stats I saw was that like the top 2 forward lines have as many points as like the rest of the team or something.
Wait, for who? Toronto?
Yeah, for the Leafs.
Yeah.
So then when you take into account like the Lightning, how there is so much experience there, and like especially defensively, like I mean Hedman's been having an actually very good year after he started slow, and then like Sergachev's been really good. I would lean Lightning and probably 7.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for Toronto though, just because I don't want to see Tampa have a chance of winning it again.
Tampa they can do so much damage in the playoffs because of the freaking Vasilevsky.
Oh yeah, that I didn't even mention
It's
that.
so
Yeah.
impossible to like root against them, but like you were saying, James, I'm so set on the fact that like Tampa's gotta win one.
Yeah.
It was like the Islanders back when they beat the Panthers finally, and it was like, yeah, they had to get this. They had to at least they had to get a playoff win before they could proceed forward, or even like the Capitals when the Capitals couldn't get past the Penguins, and then all of a sudden they got past them, and it was like, boom, Stanley Cup. Um, so yeah, I could see that. And then last but not least, we got the Devils versus the Rangers in the Hudson River rivalry. I can't start this one off because I got a conflicting opinion, but let's hear what your guys' thoughts are.
Yeah, this series I would be very excited to watch. It's like 2 high-powered offenses going at it. I'm gonna take the Rangers in 7 just because of Shesterkin. I think a goalie like that is like game changing in the playoffs. Like we were just talking about Vasilevsky, even someone like Sorokin. Like when a goalie gets hot in the playoffs, I mean, and Shesterkin's getting hot at the right time. Like he's starting to like play like how he played last year. I don't know. That's gonna be a really good series, but I think it's going 7. I think it's gonna be back and forth, but I'll take the Rangers in 7.
Yeah, I'd also go Rangers on this, partly just because of like the Devils are just a very young, obviously very talented team. But then the Rangers already have experience. But then you add in Tarasenko, you add in Patrick Kane, who are proven winners in the playoffs. I I wouldn't be surprised if the Devils pull it out, but I would probably go Rangers in 7 and maybe 6. Who knows?
Yeah, and it's like another thing. Just
Oh,
one
yeah,
more
what's-
thing. It's like Jack Hughes like always plays well against the Rangers. So if they could shut him down, then I think it's gonna come down to like more of the Rangers defense. Like
Yeah.
they're gonna score the goals. Like they have a very talented offense. Both teams do. Like power plays, that's gonna be huge also. Like staying out of the box is gonna be the most important thing for both teams.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see a lot of fights happening in that series.
Yeah.
A lot of anger and aggression. This one like scares the hell out of me, right? Because like you were saying, the Devils for some reason have the Rangers number, especially Jack Hughes. I have two thoughts, right? I have two outcomes for this. Either A, the Rangers take it in like 4 or 5. And I don't know how reasonable that is, but like I think the Rangers could exploit the fact that the Devils just don't have a playoff built team yet. Right. Like they have some playoff performers like Palat and I don't know, Dougie Hamilton, like they have some guys on that team that are playoff performers, but collectively they're not really a playoff team. They're a run and gun regular season fast paced team. And the Rangers have Shesterkin, like you're saying, who's getting hot. Now, the other option that's possibly there, the other potential outcome is the Devils are just an whole team and they go to 7 and take the series from the Rangers. And I will expect that because the Rangers have always let me down. I will invite the Rangers team as my pallbearers when I die because they've been let me down for the one last time. But yeah, it's either Rangers in like 5 or Devils in 7.
I think that's very fair, but I really hope that these are going to be the matchups because literally every single one that we just mentioned would be exciting.
Yeah,
Actually, it could have it like I'm looking at the stats now. Like Carolina could fall out of that one spot and like the Devils could go up.
Yeah.
And then it could be Devils Islanders then at that point, and then it would be Rangers Hurricanes. Like it's gonna be interesting the next like week or two.
Yeah, the Rangers have the potential to take the second spot if they beat Columbus tonight and beat the Devils on, I think it's Friday. I want to say that playing. The Rangers would end up taking the second place, and then I would love to see the Rangers get home ice advantage at least once.
Yeah, it comes in, especially it doesn't really mean a lot until it's that game 7.
Yeah. Rangers shut down the Canes in game 7 last year, though. So, I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? Sometimes people like that. I just don't want to play the freaking Penguins. I hate the Penguins, man. I hate them with everything.
I just want to clinch.
Yeah, that's it.
Gotta get that X next to your name.
Yeah, like I want that X.
All right. Well, that concludes this episode of Sportorium Podcast. Next time we see you guys, hopefully some of those playoff matchups we talked about will be happening and we'll talk about them. So
yeah, hopefully the
hope you guys
Islanders just
enjoy.
have the X.
We want that
Yeah.
X. That's it.
Rangers gonna have a Y for clinching the Metro.
All right, bud.
Okay. Well, that's a good point to end it. Till next time.